Hi.
Woo!
And it's Sunday night at 7 o'clock. It's time for Gaming Beyond the Box. What's up, everybody? And yeah, it's the Halloween edition. So I'm excited. My nipples are rock hard. I can cut glass right now.
Yes.
So,
That's what I'm talking about.
yeah, that's it. And this Halloween will be no different. There's some good and some bad, especially movie-wise. We'll get into that here in a few minutes. Let's introduce everybody to the panel. We will start with the panel pony pusher. What's up, Peniac?
Yo, what's going on, everybody?
Good enough. All right. I'm just kidding.
Halloween coming up. I haven't watched a ton of scary shit, to be honest. But I did watch the 2 Terrifier movies within the last month or so. And we watched The Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix. Finished that last week, I think. So that's as much as the new horror input I'll be able to throw around this show. But as far as games go, got Spider-Man 2 all platinumed and wrapped up. So now I'm in I think I'm in coast mode now until after Christmas, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And our returning guest, what is up, Mr. Paul?
Hey, not much, just hanging out, like you. This is one of my favorite times of year. Watch a lot of horror movies, a lot of horror TV shows, and even play some scary games. So yeah, I'm all excited for tonight.
I do that year round, but see, this time of year,
this time of year it's kind of a focus. Yeah,
yeah. Everybody thinks it's odd. You don't hit as many FBI, checklists.
Yeah. Yeah. People go, well, why are you watching that? It's not Halloween. It doesn't have to be Halloween. It just
Now you can hang out a skeleton in your yard and nobody thinks it's the neighbor.
Yeah. Nobody says, I haven't seen your mother in a couple of days. What's this? Nobody questions it.
Exactly. Especially in my business, that people do question because a lot of them know what I do for a living.
Yeah.
Where'd you pick that one up from?
Yeah, that one's still a little fresh and meaty, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. And the sad part, it's not false. Sometimes life is funnier than fiction. And a good friend of the show, he hasn't been on with us in a while. What is up, Mr. Ham Solo?
What's cracking? Good to see you guys. What's happening? Yeah, good to be here. It's been a little while for sure, but it's been a really good year in gaming. Definitely happy to come here and talk about whatever you guys got going on. And it's been pretty wild week on my own channel. So yeah, it's just been a good time to talk about gaming for sure. Let's go.
Fair enough. And we will go to Scrub Nurse. What is up, Scrub? And I'm hearing myself in somebody's audio.
Yeah. Okay.
That's so weird hearing my own voice.
Yeah, it might be gone, but yeah, good to be here and glad to see everybody in the chat. Let's see what I've been playing this week. Mainly, no, really play Call of Duty. I've been out of town doing a lot of stuff with work. Definitely had some horrible news with family, so I hadn't played much. But what I have,
I've been the one playing Call of Duty, sadly.
Yes, Wilmy has taken that spot for me for this week. I will catch back up next week when the new Call of Duty campaign comes out November 2nd. So, but I've been playing Halo, going through season 5. I'm about halfway through the battle pass. I will tell you what, because I know this is Bomber's bread and butter. I will not be playing ranked play until they change your starting weapon. That dang Evo battle rifle, whatever, is the worst damn gun. I'm just that bad with it.
I'm with you, dude. I'm not that big of a fan of it myself either.
This is the first time I've ever done ranked play. Your first 5 matches, and I didn't at least make some sort of level of gold. I started out silver. Give me a commando rifle or something. I'll take a regular BR than that Evo, but it's been fun. If anybody hadn't had a chance to get back into it, please do. It's well worth it. The new maps are great. The new modes are good. I'm loving playing Extraction. That's one of my favorite modes to play with this new season 5 and the new maps. And that's pretty much it. Ready to talk about games? Let's have some fun.
All right. And let's move on to Bomber. Kratos' third cousin, 3 times removed by marriage to Dude Chlamydia. What's up, Bomber?
Man, it's going pretty good. Can't complain too much. Just been playing my normal, which has been either Rocket League, Halo, and then I've actually gotten back into Diablo and actually enjoying playing it right now. So, but yeah, that's currently my gaming portion of it. Of course, I don't do the scary stuff, so I'm not really want to be asking about that stuff. But yeah, but definitely ready to talk some gaming and whatever else we come across, like we normally do.
Fair enough. And I have not gone back to Diablo. I'm just not ready for that yet.
Hey, there's plenty of play.
And that's okay.
Yeah, I'm trying not to, dude. There's just so much other stuff.
I don't blame you. Plenty of play.
And for
Plenty
me,
of play.
sadly,
Sure.
I know people have been seeing me on Call of Duty. And no, I'm not ignoring you on purpose. Except some of you I may be. I can't say which ones. But yeah, there is some of you I do ignore, but others, there's an explanation. During the day, I may hop on for a match or two, but usually I'm doing it between phone calls and emails. So I really don't jump on a headset because I have to be able to hear my phone and I have to be able to speak. So you may see me play a match or two and not touch it for another hour and a half. And then next thing you know, I'm in a match. So if you jump in and I don't say anything, that's probably why. So I'm not wearing a headset.
I can vouch.
Yeah. So when I play during the week, I'm trying to do 3 different things at once. So that means I'm usually, arguing with a realtor or a client, and I'm just ready to go shoot somebody on a game to make me feel better. And yeah, I mean, that's legal. You can do that shit and get by with it.
I used to do that all the time after a rough day at work. Come home and blow shit up, man. It was very cathartic.
It's very therapeutic, let me tell you.
Now you know why I play all the time.
Yeah, it's very therapeutic. I mean, it's just, I don't know. But I've also been playing Alan Wake 2, but we'll talk about those here in a few minutes. But first, let's get a few topics out of the way before we get into the some of the other stuff here. So let's knock this one out of the park real quick, like. All right, so what is behind what Twitter's offended by this week? It's pretty simple. There's a dude on Twitter named Lumberjack. If you're not familiar with who Lumberjack is, you're apparently not paying attention. Because I had this dude blocked. I've had him blocked for ages. But people keep taking screenshots of his shit and reposting it, so I still end up singing anyway. So there's that. But we're not the type of channel, and I tell everybody this, and some people don't believe it. The best part about not being a dick writer for a corporation is simple. You don't have to rearrange your content every 6 months, and one company screws up over the other one.
Ain't that the truth?
You know what I mean? It makes life easy. If Xbox is on top and we're all Xbox and we're hating PlayStation, then when PlayStation does something right and Xbox does something wrong, we don't have to switch content. We just, we stay in the middle because we just play games and life's easier that way. But if you've been paying attention on social media, you do realize there's been some big changes at PlayStation in the last couple of weeks. What is this woman's name? Connie Booth?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think she was actually fired or stepped away. Doesn't really matter. I don't care which way, one or the other. But she is no longer at PlayStation, and this poor lady had been there for 35 years, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
This
retirement
wasn't-
time.
Well, you would think that was retirement time, but that is not exactly what happened to her. Apparently, she was let go. Now, I'm going to say this, and people can get mad. They can comment on it afterwards. I don't really care. If this was a Microsoft issue, it would be all over every journalism site.
Oh yeah.
That,
Getting rid of the
somebody had done that. But apparently, IGN and all these people don't want to report on it at all. But there's also a lot of layoffs going on at Sony. And according to this guy, there's actually some of the Sony studios are wanting to pull away from Sony. Now,
Oh, you're
whatever this
talking about
dude
that
says.
dude who has the big beard and
Yeah.
he's an inside. Oh my god, I saw some of that.
Yeah,
shit
it kind of
this
looks like
afternoon. I was
Bomber with a different hat.
Wait, did you just almost call him an insider? I hate that term. I seriously
Oh,
God,
dude,
I hate
I-
that
Thinks
term.
he's.
I really,
Geez.
I really hate the
yeah.
whole insider thing. There's very few people on social media that I trust for what they tell me, and that is a very slim list of people. Very slim.
It's single
And-
digits, let's be honest. It's single.
Oh yeah, it's not. I can count them on like two. I can count them on like two fingers.
fingers.
But this guy's claiming, that Sony's, shutting down all this other stuff. Some of the studios are trying to pull away, and they threatened to be sued if they did, and that Sony would just shut them down, all because of gas games. I don't know, but I do know enough to say I don't trust anything this guy has to say. Nothing.
No, because if something that big was going around, it would be out. They can't keep that.
I don't know. But the bottom line is this, and these are facts that we do know. Jim Ryan is history. He's gone, split out of here. You got Connie, she's gone. The Naughty Dog game, which whether you're going to play it or not, it's gone.
How about factions?
No factions, yep, it's gone. They're doing layoffs at Naughty Dog. Visual Studio layoffs. Media Molecules laid off a bunch of people. There's really no roadmap at this point. Pixel Opus has been closed. And people are upset because there's nothing really coming out for the VR units they paid so much money for. Now,
See, I don't
I'm
agree
not-
with that statement.
well, I'm
There's
just saying
games
that's
coming out every week, but it just
Yeah,
'cause
but
people don't
are they
wanna
good
buy
games?
them or want to play them doesn't mean there's no games coming out.
well,
I mean,
yeah, but I'm just saying there's
quantity-
nothing like they were
yeah.
promising.
No, yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. There's no big time first party AAA stuff
Right.
for sure. But yeah, I'll be honest,
Yeah.
I have a lot of games since August.
GT7?
I mean, no, I bought Synapse, which is pretty good.
Oh.
but I don't-
And on
Oh,
the
is it?
other,
Yeah.
but on the other side of the token of this, Xbox supposedly jumped their prices up in Brazil.
Yeah, they did buy a lot. Jesus.
But now the thing is this, folks, I'm going to say this. There's a certain individual on social media, and I call it Brapisms. If anybody remembers back to the days when George W. Bush was president, we used to call his Bushisms, right?
Yes.
Whenever George Bush would say something really stupid. So I call these Brapisms. I don't sit and pretend to be a corporate financialist by any means, because that's not what I do. I know how to run my company. I'm pretty good at it. I've done it for almost 30 years. I don't know how to run Microsoft, and I'll never pretend to. There's probably a reason they're going up on their prices. I don't know what it is. Personally, I don't care. I don't live in Brazil, so it doesn't faze me at all. Both of these are all over social media. People complaining about both. Yesterday, everybody was complaining about the price hike for Xbox in Brazil. Some of these people act like they live there, and this was like torturing their ass. I saw one guy threatening to beat his Xbox with a hammer. I'm like, yeah, dude, that really works.
yeah,
You show them,
Yeah.
do it and make sure you record it and put it.
Yeah.
Make sure to record it and post it all over social media.
When it comes to that, destroy your
Yeah.
own property for no reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's
It's
The
already
company
paid for, and if it's not paid off, you still got to pay it off anyway. So yeah, what the hell?
yeah, that's one thing I don't understand. It's weird to me. Like, what was that dude? What was that football player's name? Kaepernick. People were
Oh,
buying
yeah.
his jerseys and setting them on fire. Well, that taught him a lesson.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, shoot, that was pretty much any. I remember when
anything.
all those. I remember when LeBron James, everybody was burning his stuff when he left Cleveland, and I'm like, and then he came back and won a championship with them. I'm like, yeah, you're really stupid for burning your crap now, aren't you?
Yeah,
You showed him.
but
Yeah, you showed him making 100+ million a year. Yeah.
yeah, you definitely taught them a lesson. But this is the two hot topics that I see going around on Twitter the last couple of days. Anybody have any thoughts on these?
I mean,
Get 'em out.
I did voice my like, it's not really opinion. I just said it's just pretty crappy that anybody. I mean, I still think it was stupid for Sony and Microsoft to go up on the Series X when they did, and the Series S also just seems pretty stupid for Brazil. I mean, that's what equivalent to $750 here, so it's pretty asinine. But then again, I don't understand their economic situation over there, and then what Microsoft's having to deal with as far as their export to Brazil. There could be something because of all this other crap that's going on in the world that's causing it. Hell, I don't know. But either way, it still sucks for those who, like everybody says, it's supposed to be the entry level console, and it's no longer. It's pretty much equivalent to the PS5 there in Brazil. So which one would you
Right.
rather have, a not as strong Series S or the current gen system of a PS5? And I mean, to me,
Yeah.
PS5 would win out in my personal opinion.
Right.
But hey, that's just me.
It's especially when the price of the X didn't go up. They're not saying anything about the price of the X going up, but the price of the S is going up.
Well, because the X already received its increase.
Right. So
It
it
increased
makes me
last
wonder.
year or the beginning of this
I
year.
hate it. Yeah, I hate it for them. I hope it gets figured out what in one way or another, because a lot of countries get screwed over with price hikes. I mean, even Canada pays
Hey.
higher than.
Oh yeah, if our
wait,
dollar
wait.
tanks in like
Yeah.
2 weeks, then all our shit goes up for no reason
Yeah.
other than
Yeah.
the fact that the
Because
currency.
y'all have a lot of snow. That's all it is. They don't like
Sorry.
snow.
Gotta say it right.
Sorry,
Sorry.
everybody. Sorry.
Sorry.
Well, one of my
But
brothers,
yeah.
Loke, has to deal with this living in Africa.
Yeah.
Like we literally just had this conversation a little bit about this with like Seamus Blackley this last Friday on our show, and we were asking them just like not only about the hard to deal with getting like consoles at the right price or games, because for instance in Africa, my buddy Loke, he has to pretend to live in South Africa to purchase games from PlayStation. He has to kind of create digital fraud just to be able to buy games.
Is it because they
Wow.
restrict a lot there?
Because they don't allow payment from his country.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sony doesn't.
That's
Oh.
right.
Well, that's
Mm,
kinda
mm.
stupid.
As for Xbox, they allow payment, but it's also through South Africa, but they have it to where it's tied to be a legal transaction through the two, which is like some weird back end thing kind of going on there. But he could purchase, like, he can actually use his credit card information without having to pretend to be in one place or another. Right?
Gotcha.
Yeah, he can say he's in Mozambique in Xbox, but he can't do that for Africa. So for Africa, he has to buy like these like very suspicious like gift cards and some stuff like that from like third party websites, or somebody has to like purchase it for him and stuff like that. But as for consoles, you don't really see a whole lot of Xbox consoles out that way because they just don't really. I guess they don't really. Yeah, they don't really sell. Well, it's not that they don't sell well. They're just not available.
So they're
They're
not
just
available,
not really out there.
and they're putting them more expensive. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, I really would rather Loke talk on this topic because he lives there and he's dealing with all that and stuff like that. But like, this is not just South America or even just Xbox. This is just a problem in general.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's-
think since it's localized to Brazil, it makes you kind of wonder what's different there, and it could come down to like some of the stuff with Canada comes down to the fees and tariffs and stuff that gets paid when it crosses the border. They just soak it into the price instead of letting you see it after the fact. You know, because I know getting some stuff sent to Canada is very expensive actually, because
Oh,
of the
okay.
money.
Or ordering stuff from the US
Like what?
is unless you
Yeah.
really, 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 really want the product, it's a waste of money.
Yeah.
Because I imported something from a friend of mine. He lives in Chicago or one of the suburbs there. It was like a $70 item, and by the time he bought it, shipped it, and converted everything, it was about $180 for me.
Yeah.
to buy
Yeah,
this.
Good God.
It's like,
Yeah,
I forget all the
like,
terms for it. But
that's
part
the
of it is
last time.
I would just live without that, whatever it was.
Lesson learned.
Right?
I forget what some of the terms are, but yeah, the tariffs and they have other things that get thrown on top of it for
Yeah.
you know.
You
Yeah,
can't
it's-
live
it's
without that
wild.
waifu pillow, so you
Yeah.
gotta take
What
that
did-
money.
It
Wow.
was the latest pop. It was the latest pop figure, wasn't it? Yeah.
No comment.
I'm having
Sign Wayne Gretzky. Probably on that.
knowing Peniac is a blow up doll. But, I mean, that's something.
Listen, okay. I wanted a pillow that had the real life peach fuzz at A-Log. All right.
Well, I mean,
It
who
costs a
doesn't,
lot.
right?
Okay.
That's crazy. But I mean, that's the deal. We don't know why they're doing it. I'm sure there's a reason behind it, but we don't know what it is, and it doesn't affect my day-to-day life. Sorry, it just doesn't. So I can't preach on it on social media and be outraged like some people are. But
It's the old saying, why the fuck do I care about the price of tea in China? Right?
exactly, that's another thing I really don't care about because I don't drink tea either. So
Let's go.
I'm sure there are reasons. Like, I know Brazil's economy is not exactly what you would call the peak of stability in the world, but
it might
yeah,
be.
I mean, yeah, there's just enough factors that us idiots don't know. So
Well, yeah, I mean, hence why we're just like, it's just stupid.
whatever.
You
I
know,
mean, I don't care.
That's all we can do.
That's
That's
why
all
we're
we
not
can
going to. That's why we're not going to create brapisms.
Yep, we're not gonna create a narrative just because we're gonna sound like we know what's going on and we don't. It's stupid.
Because we could sit here and pull all kinds of big words out.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I could
and-
say because of the situation that's impacting the civilization of the current people in that area, that because of some outside situations is causing an increase of cost for goods from the U.S. And you've
yeah,
heard
that
it.
almost sounded good, but you way too much Alabama in that one.
Yeah. Because I don't know a lot of big words. So.
Yeah, anytime we try to sound smart, you got to use a British accent or
Yeah.
at least some kind of northern accent.
Yeah,
Well,
Like this
I've
doesn't
always
sound
said,
too
dude, if Albert Einstein would have been Southern, we'd all be fucked.
yeah.
And the
You know,
funny
it's one
thing
thing
is,
Jeff Foxworthy ever said. If my doctor came in and started, screaming, trying to explain stuff to me in a deep Southern accent, I'd be like, "No, let's get somebody who went to a real school, please."
Well, actually, I prefer that, and I can understand them.
Yeah.
'Cause that doctor that almost killed me last year. He was from New Jersey, so yeah,
Well,
that's
There you
not
go.
a joke. He really was. He was from New Jersey. He had a New Jersey accent.
Oh, I would have turned away and said, "Oh, nope, sorry."
I've seen
I
Jersey
wasn't
Shore.
able- I
Okay.
wasn't able to turn around, dude.
yeah,
I didn't have that convenience. But is that all we got to say about those topics? Because I mean, that's what's a buzz on Twitter right now.
I mean,
That's all I have to say about that.
there's really nothing. I mean, what else is there to say? Other than
yeah,
sucks for them.
Exactly.
And yeah, we don't see the repercussions because the US is the top selling for all consoles. So that's just why we won't see that increase here. But hey,
I do agree, sir. I totally agree.
Yeah, so you guys
Nick.
didn't. None of the prices of the consoles went up there, right? Like at all?
talking
no,
about here.
just in Brazil, for
In
lately,
Brazil.
anyway. Lately,
No, I mean like
Well, I
even
think,
even here, like we got the
Series X
we-
and PS5 went up $50 or whatever it was. Or
The
40.
disc model went up $20, and the digital one went up like 30, and the X went up $50. Whenever it went
I
up.
don't follow the prices because I already have one. So
That's also true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm kinda
that's
with you on
me
that.
too.
it's
Like,
just kind of
like,
hard for me to
woohoo,
look
like-
at the prices. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't look at them.
Yeah.
People are like, losing their minds, of course, because why would you $20? Like if $20 all of a sudden breaks your decision to purchase a $630 piece of hardware, then you weren't buying it anyway. Let's be
Thank
honest.
you. I totally agree.
Well, okay, I'm gonna come on the other side of that because sometimes when I go to buy a big that $20 can make a difference for me. Actually,
Well, I know because you got to decide whether you want the hooker and the hand job or you want the console. We get
Or sometimes if I want the grilled cheese sandwich or the hand job, whatever, whatever.
That's
it
an
takes.
expensive
Wait, where are
grilled
you
cheese.
getting your hand job from?
and the grilled cheese. Holy shit!
I mean, you
No,
get the
but I-
grilled cheese and
but
a
I-
hand job at the same time.
but I mean,
You
yeah,
get
if I-
Waffle House?
But I mean, sometimes if you hit it just at the right point, those little what they call a small price increase can all of a sudden throw off my purchase by a month or two. Some just whatever. But that's just me. I'm and you all know I'm on a very very tight budget, a stupid tight budget.
Yeah,
if you can even call it a budget at this point, but
and and I will say this. I mean, this is not to say anything wrong with anybody because shoot, I've been on the budget for a while. But I will say this is like they don't care about anybody that's on a budget.
No, they don't.
Clearly.
They absolutely, yeah.
And that's the same as pretty much anywhere right now because I mean, look at the automobile industry.
Yeah.
Same car that cost $40,000, not even 2 years ago is now
Truck
60 to
prices.
70 grand. And it's the same car, nothing
Yeah.
different.
Mm.
And on top of that, you don't get all the things
Yep.
to it when you buy it because they're like, hey, to get it all, you'll have to wait another 6 months until we get the part and then we'll install it. And then you're out of a car for 3 weeks because they suck.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, these companies.
No,
don't care.
I
And
think
that's
I
why
just
think it's
I just have issue with when people go, it's just $20, or if you can't afford the additional $20, maybe you shouldn't get it at all.
no, yeah, I mean, people.
I will say, and this is going to sound blunt, but Wilmy knows I've been through. We've all been through shit, but gaming has literally saved my life. So when people bitch at me, well, why did you get that? Well, because it was either that or have Wilmy come scrape me off the sidewalk. It's a
I don't travel to Florida anymore, dude.
but I mean, not that bad. But that's what kind of keeps me. When I get down, I watch movies and I do shit, and I have to I find something that I'm excited about. And for me, a lot of times that's gaming, and even talking to you fuckheads on a show like this. I mean,
What?
what?
You don't have to call Peniac all those names now.
I wasn't paying attention.
Good. No, nobody listens to the cripple. I learned that a long time ago. So, I'm okay with that.
But yeah, I mean, if that's it on this topic, then we'll get
Yeah, I
into
think
the
so.
Halloween type stuff.
Sounds good.
Let's talk about. I don't know if I'm the only person on the panel that's played it. Alan Wake.
Too scary.
Has
for
anybody
me.
else played this game?
Nope.
I have seen all
zero
everybody's-
interest in it.
I've seen everybody's
Oh.
screenshots and it looks beautiful.
Oh
my
man,
God.
it looks amazing.
Like
If
it looks like the
you-
best
Yeah.
looking game
Yeah,
made
yeah.
so far.
If this game is not on your radar, you need to put it on your radar. I'm sorry, it is. I love the first game, so I knew I was going to buy the second one, and I even bought the American Nightmare version back in the day on Xbox, and that became available, which holds nothing on this one. This game took everything in the genre and put it together and formed something really good. I mean, they really truly did. Just the gameplay, the whole everything. They nailed it. Remedy did very well. I really like Control. I really liked Alan Wake. I like Quantum Break. But Alan Wake 2 is definitely a different type of game. I give them credit. They really outdone themselves with this one. Very much.
Hell yeah.
So if you haven't played it, pick it up, play it. It's definitely worth a shot. Do I think it's worse or scarier than Visage? No.
Yeah.
Visage is still my number one horror game if you've not played it yet.
I played it for 5 minutes. So I said, "Oh hell no!"
I mean, dude,
that game,
If-
no.
Mhm.
if you have not played Visage, check it out, play it. I know it used to be in Game Pass.
I think it's still
Probably not
is.
there anymore. Oh, really? It may still be there. It was actually on the PlayStation Store. You could get it there for free. I mean, definitely check out Visage if you've not played it. Amazing game. And it's definitely perfect for this time of year. If you like anything scary, creepy,
If you have
This is
any
definitely your
heart
game.
complications, don't play it.
Yeah.
well,
I'll
and
pass on that one.
the throwbacks, dude, from that
Dude.
game to movies. Like, if you guys remember, I put up clips. They were impersonating the Evil Dead movies where, Ash is in the cabin and everything starts talking to him. You were in the kitchen, the microwave started talking to you, the stove, the refrigerator. I mean, the game is fucking amazing. I still have not played anything better than Visage as far as a holiday, Halloween holiday type game. Now, Madison's close. Madison was a pretty good game too, but Visage definitely still takes the cake.
And for me, it wasn't Visage. For me, it's Alien Isolation. Just because that game, it gets the atmosphere down, the music and the sounds, and that game freaks me out. That game has me sitting on the edge of my chair the whole time when I'm trying to sneak around.
Yeah, I
It
heard that
bored
was
me.
pretty good.
Of course it does. No.
No, I'm not being serious. I really didn't. I've tried to play it a couple of different times. I couldn't get into
Yeah.
it.
And I'm
If I-
looking at
if I don't have a
Visage.
I haven't
weapon,
been into
I'm
a freaking game, a horror game since the GameCube.
Dang.
So,
That's-
Wow.
I don't know. And in the last,
Was that
the
is that
last-
Resident Evil?
No, it's
Oh.
Eternal Darkness.
Uh,
I love that game, but other than that, I don't know. I just never have cared about horror.
Why?
Yeah, I
Will
mean-
was like,
Mhm.
It just depends on the game. I'm kind of the same way. So I'm kind of quiet.
My God.
myself on it.
Bunch of chickens in this chat with us here, Wilmy. What the
No,
hell?
it's not the scary. It has nothing to do with scary. But
it
it's
has
like
everything to do with
sometimes-
scary for me. So I don't really care. I'll say.
Yeah,
it.
man. Like I
Also,
can
the
watch
suspense.
movies and I can watch shows, but as
Yeah,
soon as
movies
you
and shows
put the
ain't
controller in my hand, and it's like you have to walk through
Yeah.
that door now because that's
Yep,
where the
you
story's
have to
going.
make-
Like
yep, you
hell
have to
no.
make the decision.
No, it's not that
I
bad.
just don't
Nope.
care about looking around a room and flipping over
That's
medicine
what it
bottles and stuff like that.
Or
Like I
reading a
just
sheet
don't.
of paper.
I don't care
Yes.
about none of that. Like if you
Scrubs,
want to
like, I
make
read
a
enough
horror
to
game,
realize.
and see that's why Eternal Darkness was so good for me because it was just like I didn't really have to do any of that. It was very focused on combat and getting from point A to point B, slicing one limb at a time to knock stuff out. Like I don't know, like it did have a little bit of that Resident Evil look around kind of stuff going on, but I mean, like I said, I'm not really into that. So other games that had it continuing, I was just like, nah. I'm
Yeah, just one.
it still seems very similar. It still seems very similar to all the way back in the original PlayStation games as to how they kind of have you search and then find and then go into the next scene of spooky and then do it all over again.
The only thing that irritates me about some games now is they want to put all these puzzles. I'm sorry, I don't want to solve puzzles for an hour. That's what I didn't like about Scorn, and a lot of people came at me over Scorn. I'm sorry, I don't want to spend an hour and a half to figure out how to get out of a room.
Yeah,
I'm not here to do a panic room. I want to
More
get
of a puzzle
through the horror
game
part of the
than a
game.
horror game. Is more of a puzzle game than a horror game. And so I
Exactly.
enjoyed Scorn because it was a puzzle game. that look
Exactly.
horror-y. But
Right.
I like that. But like a game that's telling me it's a horror, like this is like Alan Wake is like a horror game. Like Condemned, horror game.
Fear.
You know? Fear, yeah, horror game. But
Yeah,
a lot of those
there was no
end
yeah,
up-
there was no puzzles there. That's for sure.
yeah.
Well, shit.
I don't
I
know.
mean, God
see,
of
that
War
is-
is more
that's
of a
my
puzzle
issue.
game now.
And dude, that's the problem I have with God of War 2, but we're not going to get into that one. That's the problem. I mean, they wanted to add all these puzzles. I don't want to solve a puzzle.
Thank
I
you.
want to
Mm.
barely get away with my life. I don't want to die because I couldn't figure out which fucking button to push to unlock such and such wardrobe. I want to
Yeah.
go. I want to be chased by this creature.
And
You know,
bash him
or-
with an axe.
Damn right. You know, I want furniture to fly at my face. I want something scary to happen. I don't want to run and solve a puzzle, you know, and all that shit trying to get away from a creature. And I have played some games like that. You're like, what is the point?
It's
You
just
know,
to
and like
waste your
serial
time.
killers. I'm pretty convinced if, you know, the son of Sam was chasing you, Ted Bundy, or any of these guys were chasing you back in the 80s trying to kill you, they would not stop and pause and let you figure out 45 minutes on how to unlock a door to get away from them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, he's taking a breather. You know, maybe he
Yeah.
takes a breather. Let you
But can
kinda-
they catch a bullet though?
Or Jeffrey Dahmer, he's not going to stop eating your spleen long enough for you to figure out how to unlock the deep freezer to get yourself out.
Well, you're already dead
know.
when he's eating your spleen. So I mean, that's game over.
Yeah.
Once he locked that door when you came in that apartment, you're pretty much.
And Jamie said Biohazard. Yeah, I love Biohazard, but there was a lot of that in there too. And that kind of, to me, that takes me out of the game a little bit. And I love Biohazard. I thought it was really good. But the puzzle part of it just really, I don't think needs to be there. Because if you watch a horror movie, they're not doing that in the movie.
Yeah. Or what I don't like is like in some Resident Evils to where, okay, you're running around, you see this thing that you go, I may need that, but it's not letting me pick it up. You go 3 rooms over and all of a sudden you need that key. You saw 3 rooms back. So, okay, now I got to backtrack my ass
Oh,
back
yeah,
and
like
get
in
the damn
Village.
key. Yeah.
Village was the last one I played. I enjoyed it, but even
Village
with
wasn't
Village,
scary.
I mean,
Like
No.
that's something,
No, it really wasn't.
it's
Like,
not.
that's-
It's not.
that's something
but
about
that's the
Village,
closest
like
thing.
because it's vampires and werewolves. Sorry, it's not scary.
Mhm.
They're
Mhm.
like what's scary is what could be potentially real, which is like Biohazard with just creepy freaking people minus the, you know, I know the supernatural shit that goes on in there, but like but the people is what actually scares you more than anything in that whole entire game, and the just
That
ambiance
weirdo
of the
family
houses.
sitting at the
Because
table.
I mean, I've been in houses like those, and it's just it's creepy. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I can relate.
Even
I know
my-
you can relate, but you don't get scared. So there's a difference between
Mm.
that and me. So, but yeah, like
But yeah, that's why I didn't like Scorn, was just for that reason. And people were all pissed off at me coming at me on social media because did not like Scorn. But that's not what that's not how
Well,
I
it wasn't
see
a
a
horror
horror game.
yeah, it was a puzzle game that had dark,
ASMR.
Dark tone.
yeah, ASM, like a whole bunch of
Yeah.
freaking penis insertions going on there,
Lots of
and
sound.
lots of doors opening. That's the reason why I didn't
Lots
even
of
want to
squishing
play it,
and
because I was
squelching.
like, I don't care if the game looked like the best game in the world, as far as like nothing could ever look as good as it. I still wouldn't ever play it just because, I mean, they showed it off wrong. I mean, they showed a 15-minute video of a dude walking around trying to open up doors. Like, no.
That was the most
And in
boring
reality,
gameplay
some of them
video
it
ever.
did take about that long to figure
Exactly.
out.
Exactly. Like, screw this. Like, this is, you know, if you're trying to scare me, it ain't gonna happen. And it's gonna frustrate me. But I mean, it's kind of like how. I mean, yeah. I mean, puzzles. I've never been a fan of puzzles in any games. Now, if you're just a puzzle game, that's different. Hey, that's what you're
What about
intending.
Tomb Raider?
But same thing there. It's stupid, just like Hellblade. Stupid. Quit putting
To
these-
me, I think it is for
puzzles in there. It's
Tomb
just
Raider
boring.
because you're trying to solve stuff to get the whatever, the loot, the prize, the
Ancient
the
rocks
artifact.
tomb, right?
Yeah,
That-
so
yeah.
I can
makes
understand
sense
it
why
on
that's
that. more than other games.
But yeah, some of the puzzles in Hellblade were like, what the fuck? Really?
Yeah, like get the
Yeah,
shadow
the one with
perfect. Like screw you.
The one that I
Arches
keep
where you have to
remembering,
walk through.
the one I remember in Hellblade was the one with like the crows. You had to string
dude,
them up
Yes, freaking
Yeah.
terrible.
and make the shadow line of them. Like,
Yeah.
who the fuck was lazy one day smoking a joint and said, "Hey, let's make this area last longer. Let's
Well,
figure out something stupid for them to do while they're standing here."
Yep, it's just like that. The one part where you like make the doors, line up to go through them.
Yeah,
To,
going
like,
through
go
the
to the other-
arches of
Yes,
the-
like
Dude, that game used to make me
freaking-
nauseous
yes, like
because of all the blurriness.
Yeah.
oh, dude, so bad. Like that's the only thing.
Until they got
hated about the
60
game.
FPS, it made me nauseous. I was like, I can't play this game. I
Well,
don't know
I-
why,
yeah.
but like trying to line up everything, I don't know. It gave me a
Yeah.
headache. Like it wasn't even too hard. It was just like, dude, this is giving me a headache.
No, but some of that trying to line shit up stuff got really old really fast. It's like you had to
Well,
be in
that's
the
all they
exact
did.
right space. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, come on. You know?
Yeah.
the staircase that you had to repair that time, that took me forever because like I just wasn't standing in the exact
Exact spot.
spot that I need
yeah.
to be in
Because it
rotate
wouldn't
the
trigger anything
camera
else.
to
Yep.
trigger it.
Yeah.
And it took me like 30 minutes, and I looked up a guide. I was like, "How do I do this?" And it just
Well,
took
God
me
of War is
longer.
full of that.
yeah.
Throw,
I freaking
throw this
love
axe,
it.
hit that bell, then hit the next bell, and then
Dude.
this bell, but it has to be in the exact same order. And if you are off and catch the axe wrong, everything reverts back to the beginning. Oh God.
Multiple
And that is
things.
exactly when I stopped playing God of War 2. There was an area, and you guys may know where I'm talking about. You were at the end of like this big corridor, and there were 4 bells you had to hit. You had like 5 seconds to hit all of them.
Yeah.
And like Scrub just said, if you caught the axe wrong or didn't throw it in time, there was no way to do it.
See what
And
you
after
need to
about
do is go into
30 minutes-
accessibility and turn up the time you have to do those.
And,
Which is what
and
I
after
do.
about
just gonna
turn
30
them up to
minutes,
max.
after about 30 minutes of doing it, I'm like, fuck this game, I'm done. And
Yeah.
I was a few hours into it too, and I'm like, yeah, we're done. I'm over it.
And the thing is like God of War is not like a short game either, because you have a lot of story elements, so you have to watch a lot
Right.
of it. So like you're gonna the playthrough is still a good almost 30 hours, even without any stupid puzzles. And I'm like, look, I'm the God of War. I am freaking Kratos. Why the hell?
Mhm.
Like,
Am I
why?
beating Bales
Please
with a
ask
damn
me
axe?
why I'm throwing
Yeah.
shit at jars to get a K and then a weird symbol. And like, I'm like, dude, this is free. Like Kratos cares about this. Like, no, come on. Like,
Mhm.
Well,
You can at least throw the old
He-
guy's head.
if he wants the platinum trophy, he cares about it. All right.
it just, I don't know. That's the
Well,
stuff that
like
always
in
bothered me.
Spider-Man 2, there's one mission I cannot do. I will not be platinuming that game. I just can't do it.
It's the MJ missions. That's the only reason why.
No,
I
actually, no. I actually the
right
MJ
now.
missions were relatively easy. It's one of the ones where you
give a
got to
stun
fly.
gun.
Yeah, you got to fly around and follow this drone around the campus thing, and it's like, screw that shit. Because you can't touch the ground or land or anything. I'm like, yeah. After about 30 tries of that, I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna platinum this
Do
game
you have
ever.
do you have auto follow? Do you have auto follow?
Oh yeah,
turned on?
oh yeah. I have all that stuff turned down. It just
Yeah.
I even did to slow it down to like 30% so I could try to stay with it.
You can
the hard
swing.
part-
You can swing too, right? You don't have.
Yeah,
to
I know.
roll.
I just
Yeah.
when you slow down the game, when you slow down how fast it it actually throws off your timing really
Oh,
bad.
yeah.
It actually
That's
so
good
yeah.
for photo mode though.
Yeah, it is. It's great for photo mode. So back to scary. Okay, so I just had to throw that out there. Yes.
The puzzles are horror. That's why we're talking about it, Dreadpool. The puzzles are horror.
They are the true horror.
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, the true
And
horror.
some developers think that way, I guess. I'm not sure, but like
Does Evil
Visage, it
Within
wasn't
have-
set up that way.
Does Evil Within have a lot of puzzles?
The first one had a few. The second one was not so much. I mean, there is some, but not as many.
Like, I
And
just,
they're not overly done.
No,
Like
they're not
some
at
games.
all.
like I
And-
get it. That's why they do it, is to split up the scare and all that. I'm like, but that's the whole point of the game. Like, it's like it's just like an
Mhm.
action game. Let me just have action the whole freaking time. I don't
Yeah.
have to slow down. That's
Well,
what-
and Evil Within is more about just like for me with Alien Isolation, it's trying to sneak around and not get your head blown off or cut off or
Melted by that.
Mhm.
yeah,
Oh, it's more of
Now,
a survivability
Outlast.
game.
yeah,
Oh,
Outlast was really good.
yeah. I enjoyed Outlast.
There
a lot.
wasn't a lot of stupid puzzles, and it was just straight. They tried to scare you.
Yeah,
They really did. They tried their best to scare you in Outlast. And some of the stuff you may not even catch it in the background. I found a few clips. I posted them on my old account before it got banned, so I can't find them now. There was a clip. I was actually going out of an area on Outlast, and you could literally see this guy standing in the corner taking a piss. And then if you come back, when you come back in a few minutes in the same area, the guy's standing in the background jerking off.
oh,
And I was like, this has got to be a glitch. But no, it wasn't a glitch. The guy was demonic or possessed by whatever, and he was standing there masturbating. I was like, holy hell. And
dirty
I just-
freaking.
it's one of those weird things I caught in the game.
That's
That
awesome.
was the first Outlast. But yeah, I mean, Outlast does it really well. And I'm looking forward to their new game, which right now I think is just coming to PC as of right now. And that's sometime soon. Can't remember. I signed up for the beta. But that was a really good game. And as far as horror games, there's not a lot that are really good. In my opinion, there's very few. You can find some good ones on Steam. Because I've got one on Steam and I play it on my Steam Deck on occasion. Oh God, what is the name of it? I can't open up Steam on this computer while I'm running this podcast because we may end up shutting everybody down. You actually go to an orphanage and you're in like Taiwan. And dude, this game is just scary and it's brutal because they just come at you all at once. If you don't manage to get away, they literally just tear into you. They attack you with razor blades and all kinds of crazy shit.
So
Ouch.
Jamie was saying Silent Hill. Yeah, Silent Hill was crazy.
Yes.
Silent Hill was good. I love Silent Hill. I've got all of them and the HD collection.
See, I remember
Yeah.
playing those when I was little. I don't know why. Like, I thought I would have been a lot more scared then than I am now. But I don't know
Well,
what it
you
is. I don't know if
pussified
it's,
over the years, dude. That's all.
and I don't know if I mean probably that too. But I also believe maybe it's just the fact that they're definitely a lot, of course, way better looking, so it does look real. Versus back then, it definitely didn't look real at all. So I don't know if that is kind of sort of what it is, but I don't know. But also the first person, like third person games, every one of them. I've never been scared of a third person. Like that's why, like all the Resident Evil stuff, it ain't scary until I freaking had to play damn Biohazard. Said no, sorry, no, I'm not playing in first person. Now, if it was third person, I'd probably play it for sure. But then
Well, Alan
everybody's
Wake
like,
2
play it in
third
VR.
person.
I'm like, no, play it in VR, no.
I've never played a Silent Hill game, I don't think, because I've never had the console that it was on at the time. So,
You can get the HD
Silent Hill
collection.
was awesome. Yes,
yeah.
you can. I remember when I was in college, we had keys to our university center building, so we would bring my friend's PlayStation and hook it up to the projector. We would let down the projector in the auditorium, which was about seated a couple of thousand people. And man, with all the lights off, that sound design for that game, even back then, it would freak you out because you was wondering if somebody was actually coming through the door and sneaking up on you in the middle of the night.
For me,
I
that
love
game
the way
was
Silent
one of
Hill-
the early Resident Evil games that did that for me because I had it on hooked up to surround sound. Had to be on my original Xbox or either that or even it had to be my original Xbox, and just the sound turning off all the lights and playing that. That was one of those. Okay, this is making me nervous for no apparent reason, but
Now, see, Visage do that to you too if you got the right type of surround sound.
I use headphones for everything now, so I always use headphone settings, and I found the games like that work really well in a headset because it isolates you even better. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Hellblade's perfect for that too.
Oh, dude,
it
Hellblade.
gets some weird sounds.
Honestly,
in
that
those
was
headphones.
like that was the only thing that ever creeped me out was just the the voices, man. Because honestly, you really thought somebody was whispering in your freaking ear behind you.
It sounded like somebody was behind you,
Yes, the
tapping
whole
on your
time.
shoulder.
I'm like, bump this. I mean, the game never was scary other than just that sound. I was like, screw this, man.
Yeah, it sounds perfect.
Like I just installed because it hit Game Pass. I just installed the Dead Space, the new one, the new version.
Yeah,
And
it's
yeah,
good.
the sounds in the headset are just okay. Wow, this is well done. You know, God,
Oh yeah, the Dead
noises
Space
coming
remake
everywhere.
is good.
Yeah.
I bought it on
the.
the PlayStation 5 when it came out, so I'm
Like,
not going
it's
to play it
good.
again on
It's
the Xbox.
It just I still hate, and maybe it's almost going back to the I think what Paul was talking about is like when you have to like go back to the same place you were
Yeah.
at the beginning of the game just to go and open this one door to go back, and then it's like Jesus,
Yeah,
like can y'all
Village
not
had a lot of
find
that.
better
Yeah.
mechanics somewhere, like just please.
Oh yeah, when you're going by a door and you see it says level 2, and you're like, oh, that means I'm going to be coming back here at some point because
Oh,
I'm nowhere
absolutely.
near. Yeah.
Yeah, the backtracking crap that just gets on nerves.
Now that is one thing they did do properly on Alan Wake 2. If you find evidence for something when you're in an area, you can go ahead and pick it up. You may not be able to use it. It'll just tell you later on the
Oh, that's
evidence,
good.
but you can go ahead and pick it up. I noticed that earlier. So that is one plus.
I was not able to play Alan Wake 1, at least the original, because of the mechanics and the way my hands work, but I am interested in Alan Wake 2 because I've heard they made a lot of changes for it, made it a little bit more accessible and stuff. And I am a fan of Control and the other game they did as well.
Quantum Break.
Like Quantum Break. Except I can't get by the final boss in Quantum Break. I'm literally stuck on the final boss in that game. So, but I he's a pain in the ass.
I don't
But
even
yeah.
remember it. It's been a long time since I played it.
Yeah.
I also feel, I
But-
feel like Quantum Break came out. It's almost like, stuff with, it's kind of like when you have ideas, they come out before their time. I feel like Quantum Break definitely came out
Definitely.
before people were
Yeah.
ready for that type of game.
Yeah.
Because like
Oh,
now, I think it would, if it, minus the like TV show portion of it. Because I mean, like, which I know you can, now you can not have it, like not actually watch it or anything. But at first you had to. And it's like,
Yep.
I mean, some episodes are 45 minutes long. Like, okay, you're really going to keep me away from the game for 45 minutes to watch. I mean, and it's good acting. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's like, I'd rather.
Well,
just play the
Konami
game.
used to do that with
Well,
Gear. Another reason why I
Yeah.
don't play his games, because Jesus.
Well, and that's why I don't play the Like a Dragon, because I don't. Anytime if the cutscene is long enough that the controller actually goes dead,
Or my screen starts darking
Yeah.
out, and Xbox is like, we're gonna turn you off if you're not
Yeah.
touching. Yep.
That's too much. And we're not talking about Mortal Kombat because it may be quote horror because you see a lot of blood. Well, unless you got the green blood version, but it's not scary. I mean, at no point am I scared of what's happening in Mortal Kombat.
We're not going to talk about Mortal Kombat unless you spell it right with a K. That's what we're not going to do.
But let's talk about movies real quick.
All right.
We got an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can go at least an hour for movies. Here we go.
Everybody asked me yesterday about, last week about The Nun 2. The Nun Part 2 actually tells you in the title how much of that movie you need to watch.
None.
Yes.
None of it.
In fact, I just watched it last night, and I have to agree with that. Yeah.
I
So.
watched 25 minutes of that movie and off it went.
I still don't. I watched the whole thing. I have no idea what it was really about or what they were trying to accomplish.
I watched the first one and my wife and I almost went to sleep through it. We only watched the second one because it had been added to Max. And we got 25 minutes into it. That shit got turned off.
That's dangerous with these sub services, man. Something gets added, something's new, and like, oh, let's check it out. And you're like, fuck my life.
Yeah. And I'll tell you another one. I had really high hopes for Exorcist Believer. I'm no longer a believer. I think
So-
this movie started out with good intention. They brought the original mother from The Exorcist into it. thinking that would save this movie and tie the two together. They had a plan, they had a vision. Somewhere down the line, their budget got cut, and they decided, "Fuck it, we got to end this movie somehow."
No.
The
on a
trailer
scale
looked
of
really
one,
good.
on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 1.
Ugh.
Oh. So after you saw her face, you weren't a believer. Okay.
The only redeeming part of this movie is the very end of it, when Reagan actually shows up at the end of the movie to talk to her mother. That's it.
Was it actually Linda Blair?
It was actually Linda Blair, which I was shocked. She shows up. She's in the movie for like 30 seconds. But this
Can't wait
movie,
to end.
dude, it's like it takes every stereotype
Oh no,
and
I hate it when you do
matches
that.
it together. And I don't care about how anybody lives their life. That is your business. You do you. But this movie had the crazy white people. It had the crazy white preacher that was creepy. It had the weird priest, that really looked like a pedophile. It was crazy.
Well,
and it was no
I mean-
different than it was no different than any other weird possession movie you've watched recently. The demons all do the same thing now. And my only point is this, and I'll say this all the time. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in anything. You're alive, you're on the planet. When you die, that's it. If there was something greater in this universe or somewhere, if it gave me power to possess my body, I am pretty damn sure I would possess somebody more important than an 11-year-old little girl. I would go for like some dude at the UN, some rich fucking dude like Soros. I would go for a president or a world leader,
Jim Ryan,
not
baby.
some not some 11-year-old girl playing with Barbie dolls. And number two, I'm pretty damn sure just yelling at me and telling me Bible scriptures, if I'm powerful enough to make it from the underworld into the body of somebody else alive, I'm pretty damn sure it's going to take more than throwing a few Bible verses at me to make me go away.
Yeah, congrats, you can read. Nice.
No
So
shit.
scary.
You can
I'm out of
At
here.
least read it to me in Latin or Aramaic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Make me feel like you're putting effort into it. But
Yeah,
it is the same.
At least in the
same
at least in the Omen, Damien tried to come. He wasn't, his father was a diplomat, and he actually had political,
Exactly. At
pull.
least there was some pull. But this movie is just like the stereotype of every other bad possession movie you've ever watched. The Possession of Emily Rose was a lot better than this thing.
Oh,
If you remember that.
Oh wow!
I heard it.
Okay.
I never watched it.
I saw
But-
it. Yeah.
I mean, it was that bad. And I feel worse because I paid $30 to watch this damn movie.
oh no, bad. Yeah.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Because that's what they're selling it for is $30
Yep.
digital.
And it's
And
not
I'm
like you're in the
like-
theater and you can go in there and go, I want my money back. This was shit.
Right? Because once you watch it, that's it.
Yeah.
And it's like a Lifetime movie mixed with every possession movie you've ever watched. And they're like,
Oh no.
here you go. I mean, it was just that
Lifetime
bad.
movie.
Well, I mean, they spend way too much time trying to develop the story. And I'm sorry if you're on social media, because I had somebody comment on my post about this movie the other day, and they're like, you just don't understand horror. And I asked the person, I said, how old are you? And the girl goes, I'm 21 years old. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, somebody just
I
said
don't
that to
understand
me
horror.
today too. Somebody just said that to me today too, and I'm like, yeah, I think you're missing the point here, big time.
I'm like, you don't understand. I don't understand horror, but you're only 21 years old. I was like, you have not survived. You've not lived through horror yet.
yeah,
I was like, I grew up in the 80s when we had these real movies that really scared you. This PG-13 shit ain't getting it.
I don't
It
tend
might
to do
scare
PG-13. Mm-mm.
But it doesn't scare anybody older than 21 or 22 years old. And I told the girl, I'm like, my 3-year-old grandson laughed at this movie.
Yeah,
He thought it was hilarious. But I mean, it's just
Yeah.
that bad. I mean, it's bad.
Yeah. Nowadays, I steer away from PG-13. I will say the exception was it was better than I thought it would be. Five Nights at Freddy's. For what it was better than I thought it would be.
Man, that made
Well-
almost $80 million this weekend.
Yeah.
Compared to
Like,
most
holy-
movies I've watched recently, it can't be much worse. That's the bad part.
Yeah.
What about that movie that Nicolas Cage don't talk in? Which one's that? Is that
What?
right?
Willy's Wonderland?
Yeah,
or whatever it was
well,
called.
yeah, that's right.
I'm gonna say that'd probably be a good movie.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
doesn't talk.
Yeah. He doesn't have any dialogue. It made it much better, much more
Well,
watchable.
now I take that back. I take it back. I did watch Renfield.
Renfield, that's good.
Renfield was pretty good.
Was it
And
good?
everybody
Yes,
knows
it is.
I
It's actually good.
hate Nicolas Cage, but Renfield kicked ass.
Did it
Yeah.
really?
It's on Prime.
Yep.
It's on Prime, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, it is on Prime right now.
I guess I need to
Yeah.
watch that.
Renfield was a really good movie. I
Is that
gotta
like
give
a
Nick
comedy?
his credit.
It's
Yeah, it's a
horror,
comedy. Yeah, it's comedy horror, and it's more comedy than horror, but it's and
There's
it's more
some-
from his servant's point of view than his. Yeah, so.
And it's brutal, dude. Some of the
Yeah,
attacks
Yeah.
and
well,
everything
that's
that
what I
goes
was
on in this
wondering.
movie.
That's
There's
what I
some
remember
awesome
seeing
gore
is like a
in
lot
that
of blood and everything. I was
Yeah,
like,
there's a
"Oh,
lot of awesome gore.
okay. It's
Oh,
not.
yeah,
it's
it's-
not
it's good.
stupid gore like.
No,
the
it's like
Boys or
really well
whatever,
done.
right?
It's not like it's high
Yeah.
budget like stuff.
Yeah.
so,
Oh,
I,
okay.
I,
No, it's
I gotta say the ending fell flat for me, but that's all I'm gonna say about that. But the rest of the movie was good. So
Yep.
Hmm.
And
And-
the one,
and
the
I
one.
want-
Go ahead, Scrub.
I won't talk bad about PG-13 movies back in the day because PG-13 movies had like nudity and cursing and everything, smoking cigarettes and all that stuff. PG-13 now is totally different than
yeah.
back in the 80s.
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
13
Well, yeah,
was also
shoot. Even Disney has
Porky's and all that other stuff was PG-13 back in the day.
Mhm. But now when I watch horror and I want gore, it's not going to be in PG-13. It's
Oh,
not.
no, definitely not. Definitely not.
Now, Saw X. I will say that I'm a big fan of Saw. I've watched all of them. I own them all. I've watched each one of them several times over and over and over and over. Saw X was really good. I liked it. I see where they were trying to go with it. The timeline still doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me because Jigsaw was the dude they killed off way too quick, in my opinion. Because he basically died in like the second or third one.
Right.
Yet, supposedly his proteges kept carrying all this stuff on in his name,
Mhm.
which was like Amanda and then the detective and then Dr. Gordon and all these other people you didn't even know about. I get where they were going with the story, but this one actually has just Jigsaw, Tobin Bell, and Amanda's back magically. And this is supposed to be like a prequel to Jigsaw or somewhere. They said it was a prequel, but I don't really understand how.
I'm not
it's a
sure where it
prequel.
falls in the timeline. I'm not sure where it falls in the timeline.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where it falls in that timeline either, but Amanda's still alive and she's there with Jigsaw. It's brutal. It's to the point, and it's actually pretty good. There's some unique traps in it they've not done before. There's some surprises and some twists, but if you're used to watching the Saw movies, you'll catch on to it pretty quick. Because about 20 minutes in, I looked at my wife and said, "This is what's going to happen. Watch." And she goes, "Shut up, because you're always right."
Mhm.
And my wife doesn't say that I'm always right very often. It just always involves movies.
Yeah, just movies.
But-
I was gonna say.
The thing was, that's exactly how it ended. And I was like, okay. But then there were still a couple other twists at the end. The only issue is it made you feel like there was something missing. You know what I mean? It just like there was more that they could have done with the movie. They just decided not to. I was really shocked where they left it. So I'm curious. I'm pretty sure they're going to do a second one like this one. So that's probably where it'll pick up. I guess so. It'll be like the
Yeah.
Xboxes. It'll be Saw X and Saw S and Saw whatever.
It took me a while to get into Saw, but as the movies developed, they actually developed a storyline that told the story. It was like, okay, this is interesting, but it took me a few movies to get into that mode. Okay, this is how it's all tying together. Because they always did flashbacks. What's his name was always in all the movies, even if his character was dead. They always did a flashback or whatever to kind of show you how this person got involved. The protege thing.
Oh yeah.
and I like that. The other reason I like to watch Saw is I do like to see the traps and stuff. It's the same reason I like Final Destination. I don't like it for the storyline. Final Destination for the
seeing
storyline.
how people die.
I love the traps. I love the way they go about. Okay, how are we going to set this up so this guy dies
Look,
somewhat
nobody-
unexpectedly?
Yeah,
not
Nobody
he's
that,
like-
drives
he's
behind log
He's like
trucks anymore,
walking
okay,
on the
because of that
street,
movie.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
somehow
Yeah.
he gets decapitated by a helicopter blade. It's like,
yeah.
Oh no, dude!
I was like,
the
how did this
most
happen?
brutal. I think the most brutal way somebody died in Final Destination was the gymnast.
Oh,
You
yeah.
remember that the girl in the gymnastics?
Yeah.
That was so crazy and so long and drawn out. The way that all came about, and then she just snaps her back in half, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Dude, I think even the girl that gets fried in the tanning bed, I think
that's a
like
good one
that-
too.
that one
Yeah,
sucks
yeah.
because I'm just
Yeah.
sitting there going, ooh, I've always like when I did go to a tanning bed, I was like, man, every time it like
I've never
cracked,
been
like,
in
it sound
one.
like it well you know.
Yeah.
what?
But-
Damn.
but like I'm like every time you get in one, you just hear it crack and all that. You're like, is this thing gonna break because I'm fat as hell? Like, what's going on?
You know the bad part, Scrub. It took me a minute to catch on to that.
What? No.
I got it as soon as he said it.
The first thing I thought was, well, we're Southern. Why the fuck are you getting in a tanning bed? It's always hot.
Yeah. Well, the
was
funniest
a good
one
one.
for me,
That was a
the
good one.
funny. Yeah, thank you. I'm here all day. The funniest one was when the girl's talking crap and she just steps off the edge of the sidewalk. That's my funniest one.
Oh yeah.
Right by that bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Bomber says, you'll never drive behind a log truck ever.
No.
again.
No.
Watch that movie.
Nope. And it's funny you say it because
I'm
my
not
wife.
I'm not even
Uh-uh.
into that stuff, and I know.
Yes, you even know that.
Everybody knows.
No. That one and like the glass that broke.
Oh, dude, yeah, the glass plane that
Oh,
drops
yeah.
drops on
Yeah.
that dude.
Yeah.
Freaking glorious. Just
Dude,
smash
that
it.
is that is brutal. He just looks up and it's like squash.
That's
Yeah.
it.
That's
Game
it.
over.
He's done.
In half.
What's scary is, the NASCAR wreck, the racetrack wreck, is based
Yes.
on an actual event that happened like way back in the 40s or something.
Shoot, the what was it? The it was really, really cool. The shit. The roller
What
coaster.
about the guy? Oh
The
yeah,
roller
the roller
The
coaster.
roller coaster, yeah.
Dude, that'll freak you out too if you like roller coasters.
Yeah.
What about the guy in the bottom of the swimming pool?
Oh, dude,
Oh.
yes.
The
Oh,
one
yeah,
that keeps
the-
flipping that quarter
yeah.
and he gets
Yeah.
stuck on the drain and it pulls his guts out and just sucks him up.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Dude, I'm telling you, they have just some great ideas when it comes to death for sure. Like,
Dude, whoever writes for that movie, and there's supposed to be a new one coming out. Whoever writes that shit deserves some type of an award.
oh yeah, well, especially when you think it's gonna happen a certain way because you're like seeing
Yeah.
everything going on. Oh, okay, they're gonna die by this,
And they
oh,
fake
wait,
you
no.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, and they fake you out. You're
Mhm.
like, crap. Kind of like the dude that was in the bathroom the whole time. You're thinking of
Yeah.
freaking,
And
you know,
those are the best deaths too, right? Where you're watching it and you like
Yes.
put your hand over your mouth because you're like going, oh,
Mm.
you have to pause because you're laughing because how
Yeah.
awesome it was.
Mm-hmm.
And what about the guy? What about the stoner guy? The one that's I think it's part 2. He's standing there in the field
Oh,
and the
dude,
car
yes.
explodes and he survives it. But then
Yeah.
that fence flies through and just cuts him into
Oh,
sections.
yeah.
Yeah.
God. That's right.
Amazing.
That was awesome.
Now,
Or the
see,
simple
they
one
need
when the
more of
dude
those.
slips in the tub and,
Yep.
and chokes
Yeah.
himself.
Yep,
I'm,
that's
tell-
another
I'm
good
telling
one.
you, Final Destination, they definitely need to come up with some new ones. Because
They
even
could,
though
because they
like
do some real good work
Yeah,
with
because you don't.
with the new advances to special effects and
Oh,
stuff
no
like that.
kidding.
Whew, man, they could have
The
some
one that
nice
makes
stuff.
my wife freak out every time we watch it is the guy that falls and he's trying to get down the fire escape.
Oh,
And
yeah.
when he falls, he gets that spaghetti that he threw out the window and falls on his back.
Dude,
Mm.
yes.
And then the ladder goes into his eyeball.
Yes, that's so
Mhm.
good.
That
But-
freaks my
but-
wife out every time.
But even then, for that, they fake you out a couple of times. That one specifically, they fake you out like once or twice before it actually happens
Yeah.
when he thinks he's safe. You know, it's like holy crap. Yeah,
Man, I gotta watch
Such a
them.
good job
I
of making
think
it
I only
the
watched
way it
like 1 and
looked.
2, but there's like 6 of them, isn't there? Or 7?
yeah. There's
that's 'cause
6.
the
Yeah, there's like
storyline-
6. Yeah.
Jeez.
The storyline gets crazy and it gets
Mm.
way out of hand, and you only watch it now just to see the deaths because
Yeah,
the
that,
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
fast forward it till you
The
get
entire
something
point
done.
of it.
Well, and
Yeah.
I believe with Tony Todd is the tie-in. He basically is death throughout the movies that he appeared in. Yeah.
Yep.
So if you like Tony Todd for the few minutes he's in each one,
If you
yeah,
don't like Tony Todd, leave. Sorry.
yeah.
It's a freaking icon.
But yeah,
Follow
dude,
me on
Final
Twitter.
Destination.
This one, just in case you're wondering.
Yep.
Just in case you're wondering.
Well, he follows me too, so there you go.
Yeah, he's good about that though, right? You like
Oh yeah.
respond to him or tag
Oh,
him,
yeah.
and he likes
Yeah.
and follows, and that's-
Oh, yeah, he's-
unless you're Sony, you know, quite like him leaking everything. He's like, oh yeah, it's coming out September, whatever it was.
I think it's cool when like I tag somebody like Tony and they appreciate the post or whatever, because it means they're watching to see that we're talking about them, or at least they're
Yeah.
acknowledging, hey, I appreciate
Well,
the
they're
fact that you
acknowledging
like,
the
yeah,
tag.
yeah.
He's
Which
been
is
in some
nice.
great movies. He's
Yep.
been some great villains and just
Yep.
just a weird characters he's played.
Yeah.
And his
It's
voice.
awesome.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, he's the voice of Venom.
Yeah.
Well, he's also
he just does that, right? It's not like filtered through a
No,
it's
it's
software,
No,
right?
that's his
Right?
voice.
That's
That's his
him.
voice.
That's him.
well, he
just
also
being
was
amazing.
in Tales from the Hood Part 3
Yes, he
Yes.
was.
as like
Oh,
the grandfather.
I haven't seen part 3. I've seen 1 and 2. I gotta find. I love the Tales from the Hood series.
The first one was good. The second one sucked, but 3 is really good.
Yeah.
And he's got his
First one was
grandson.
awesome.
He's
Yeah.
telling him stories. That
Yep.
was really good.
You know what I missed that always creeped me out when I was little was Tales from the Crypt.
I wish they would bring that back.
Crypt
They would
Keeper.
talk. There was talk of bringing that back, and nothing has happened with it. But I'm hoping after the strikes are over that it bring it back still, because yeah, that was some great stuff. Yeah,
Masters of Horror. I wish they'd bring that back, but they
Yep.
started to, and they didn't. They did what, 2 seasons of Masters of Horror,
right.
and then they went to they made a knockoff series called Fear Itself.
Yeah,
And Fear Itself is really hard to find. I got them on DVD because you can't find these things digital. I've got 2 seasons of it on DVD. Those are really good. I have Tales from the Dark Side. on
those
DVD.
are actually pretty cool. Some of those episodes are pretty cool.
There is some really good episodes in there. My wife and I watched them. We started watching them about a month ago.
Mm.
And it's so funny to watch because they were all filmed like in 84. They started in 1984 and went to like 88.
Yeah,
So it's like a going back in time to watch them. There's some dumb episodes, but there's some really good ones in there too. But my favorite though is still Masters of Horror.
Masters of Horror. I think the latest Creep Show season. If you haven't watched Creep Show yet, oh my God,
I
watch
was
that
going
on
to told
Shudder,
you, dude. I was going to tell you, you gotta watch the new Creep Show season 4.
Is that on Paramount? I think
Yeah, Shudder.
It's on
Paramount?
Shudder.
Shudder. Okay, I think one of the seasons are on Paramount. I've seen.
Might be.
This is season number 4. There's 6 episodes. I didn't see a bad episode in all 6 of them.
No, they were. The last one was a special little nod to the godfather of ghouls,
George Romero.
zombies. George Romero. Yeah, so that was nicely done. Yeah.
Season 4 is just. I actually played that last night for some of my guests that came over for movie night. Everybody loved the whole series.
Yep.
So, I mean, they're just really, really well done. The first one's crazy. You're going to laugh through the whole episode. It's supposed to be scary, but you're going to laugh through it too. And there's just so many well done. The Vampire the Vampire Americans really got me.
Yeah, that was great.
That was hilarious. And it didn't end like you thought it was going to end either. They put a twist in there on that one. But just a really, really good series. And Fall of House of Usher, which
That was
personally, it was good. I didn't think it was scary.
No, it
At
wasn't
all?
scary at all. No.
There's some
But
pretty
it
good
was-
deaths in that one though.
It was a damn good story. You got to give the guy credit, man, that did it. Damn good series.
Every series
Yeah,
is
to make it
real good so far.
Yeah,
Like
to
he
make
did,
it.
he did Haunting of Hill
House
House,
on a-
and
Yep.
then Haunting of Bly Manor, and then Midnight
Mhm.
Mass, and this now, and it's like, damn.
Which
like,
is interesting because both haunted the Haunting of Hill House and this and are actually, even though it doesn't stick strictly to the Poe storyline, those are both things that were done by Vincent Price at one point or another.
Hmm.
So you can tell he's a fan of the classics, is what I'm trying to say. He's definitely a fan of the classics. Especially because they're both basically ghost stories, is what they are, and they're very well done. I need to finish this one, the House of Usher, which is funny that a lot of younger people don't get the reference when they say, "Oh, what house did the Sorting House put you in?" I'm always like, the House of Usher, dude. Forget this Hogwarts
I remember
shit.
having to read that in school a long time ago, and for them to make a modern version of that, and you
Yep.
would never think it was something based off of Poe, Edgar Allan Poe.
Nah.
I think they did.
And
a
the
great
best
job.
part of it is too, they pull in some of his other stuff in there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You see a lot of the Raven,
Yep.
which I thought was cool. You know, he references Lenore several times through the series. You hear him talk about Lenore. You know, and it's weird. And the Telltale Heart,
Yep.
there's parts of that in there too. Like the one episode, if anybody's seen it, I'm not going to give it away. One of the people are there over an artificial heart.
Yep.
Mhm.
So it's kind of crazy. Just the way he did that series, man, was just so smart, and he pulled it into modern times.
And some of the deaths are gruesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah,
I only have one nitpick about it, but it's mostly it's probably kind of a spoiler, so I'm not going to get into it, but we'll just leave it at that. But I really enjoyed it. It was a good series for sure.
yeah, it really was.
I'll never go to a rave. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
No, never go to a rave.
Yeah.
Never.
Not even one in an abandoned warehouse, really?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
I'll pass.
Condemned building, no?
Mm-mm.
No.
No.
And what I liked about
Those are
it
the
was
best ones.
he took situations out of now, like, you know, pharmaceutical drug companies.
Yeah.
He took all that and put it together. I mean, this dude is smart, man. There's no
Yeah.
other way to put it.
Yeah.
He took all that and just put it together in one package.
And wrapped it into the ideals and the things of Poe, which was, you know,
Yeah,
even the better.
it was-
It's like,
And you know, Poe gets a bad rep because some dude lied. Poe was never really an alcoholic.
no.
That was made up after he passed away. You know, Poe was a genius, and this guy I think is on the same level as Poe. I mean, he took Poe's work and just fit it to the modern era. It went together like a hand in a glove.
And
Yep.
one thing I like about what he's done, and also like other people, like Christopher Nolan, for example, they have their people that they use in their movies, and they continue using them. So
Yep.
a lot of the same people are in all of his stuff, and it's cool because you kind of develop feelings for not the actor, but the character that they played in maybe a previous one. So, like for example, when they showed Tamerlane for the first time in Fall of Usher, I'm like, man, fuck her. Because if you watch Midnight Mass, fuck, she was a goddamn.
I remember that.
awful
I watched
character.
that one.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
hated her. And you see her now, and you're like, fuck her. But
Yeah. Some of the guys that I've spoken, because we've interviewed like some of the horror writers and stuff, and we asked them about that. They said, yeah, we like to use a lot of the same people because we know how they work.
yeah, exactly.
And we know what they can do, and so we use a lot of the same people. I'm like, and it's not just behind the cameras; it's also in front. It's both, you know. So, and I think that's very cool, you know,
Yeah,
because
I
you're
like
right.
it.
Yeah, no, I mean, he obviously knows what he's getting with these characters or the
Yep.
story of these actors, and they deliver every time.
Yep.
And it's great.
And also, I know it's been out for a while. The Last of Us series is a great series to watch for Halloween.
Oh yeah,
I think it is.
Yeah. Especially all the lights off,
Yeah.
real quiet.
Hear the
Start hearing those
clickers running around
clickers.
your living room.
I'll probably
Good surround
rewatch
sound.
that
Yeah.
once when season 2 was on the brink of releasing
Yeah,
show.
Which
I
will be
still
Probably-
have to
probably
like,
rewatch
finish the last couple of episodes of that one. I think I still haven't.
Oh,
No,
man.
you've not watched all that
It's
yet.
awesome.
No,
gotta
I think
finish it.
I literally stopped, and I don't know why. I can't remember where I left off either. But
You gonna finish the game or the show first?
oh no, the show. I mean, I haven't gotten to the second game. I'm only like
I'm not talking
Of
about
course.
part 2.
no part
Oh,
one.
did you finish part 1?
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, I beat part one.
Yeah.
I know not
Yeah, I
many
haven't.
games do I beat, but I did beat part
There
one.
you go.
I mean, I
I
wasn't
think
like
I'm going to watch Five Nights at Freddy's now. If everybody's actually saying it's not horrible.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
a
being
couple of people
critically
have said
panned,
it's-
but
Okay.
It's yeah,
I
it just
mean,
don't,
yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, take that with a grain of salt.
it's a movie. Some are saying you could take. It's a quote scary movie. You could take your kids to. It's a like entry level horror. You know, it's like
Yeah, it's based off the video game, so it's not
Yeah.
really like.
Well, I didn't
scary,
like the video
fully
game. I thought the
scary.
game was boring.
no, they
Well,
well
there
they
you go.
they,
you may
they
think
they,
that's
they well
why.
they did a good job of building a story around the video game. Basically, the story is actually kind of interesting. Like I said, it's not going to win any Oscars or anything. It you know so.
If you
But I
want to
will
see a
say-
movie, go ahead.
I will say, back in the day at Chuck E. Cheese, those animatronic things,
Oh, dude.
they were. I'm just saying.
You're
Nightmare.
you're making my point for me. If you want to watch a movie where Chucky comes to life, Chuck E. Cheese that is, and you're being chased and killed, look on Xbox or any digital store, find Sweet Pickles.
Oh yeah, I've heard
Dude.
of that. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
That movie will
Absolutely googling this.
Mm.
it will make you scream and cringe and laugh all at the same time. It is basically Five Nights at Freddy's on drugs.
Oh,
Ooh.
These animatronics come at you, they don't stop. They will kill you. They are brutal. They can take any type of punishment you can give them to.
I swear that's just saying Chuck E. Cheese. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, they look like Chuck E. Cheese. This
Uh,
movie's a couple of years old though.
See,
And
I
it
remember
is so good.
when y'all went to Chuck E. Cheese as a kid. Did y'all's have like the actual stage, but they had a curtain,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
all you would see is their feet, and it would just
Yeah.
freak you out. Yeah, okay. I was just making sure mine was
Yeah.
like the same as girls.
I like to
Well-
look at the old pictures from back in the day because now being an adult looking at it, you're like, wow, they took kids to look at this stuff. Same thing like those
Dude,
old
You
McDonald's.
should
Oh, dude,
the
yes.
tree, that old
you should have grew up in the
creepy
80s,
looking
man.
tree. Yeah, I was in the 80s. Yeah.
Did you see some of the
Man.
masks that we used to have? They were scary as
oh,
hell.
yeah. Yep.
Those were you could cut yourself on those fucking things, man.
That
Mhm.
too,
Oh,
yeah.
sharp.
Mhm.
Our Easter bunny was fucking scary. Our Santa Claus
yeah.
was scary.
Yeah.
All those
Easter bunny.
costumes were scary as hell. It's like, wow. And we thought it was just normal because that's what it is. It's just like I always laugh when folks bring up, they used to come on at 10 o'clock at night, say, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids are? It was just a different,
Yeah.
it was a different.
I forgot that
time
was
back then.
a
My
that
parent,
was
my
a
parents would
commercial.
just look at me in the living room floor and go, "Yeah, son of a bitch," you know.
I would never just for the rest of the day let my kids just. All right, I'll see you when the sun goes down.
That's how it worked for us. Make
Yeah,
sure you
we
come
did-
home when
we
the
did.
lights come on.
That's right.
I'd come in and yell on the door, like,
No
"Mom, I'm going.
communication.
Where are you going? Out. When you coming back? I don't know." Door shuts. Gone.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
6 years old, right? Gone
yeah.
for like 5 hours.
But that was probably when Halloween was still fun too. So
Yeah.
because it's not fun anymore. Everything's a trunk or treat. You can't take your kids around anymore. It's kind of sucks.
I don't know.
Now everybody's scared of Halloween.
We lived outside the city limits, so me and my sister didn't trick or treat. We just passed out candy, and what we did was we turned off the lights after 30 minutes and just sat and ate the candy ourselves because there was no street lights. There were no street lights in our neighborhood, so if the lights were out, nobody came to your house because it was pitch black. So that's what we did.
Well, I think that's how everybody should take it.
I don't have that problem here because my house sits away from the street. You can't see my house, and nobody they can look to the gate and they go, "What the fuck is down that road?" So I've never gave out candy at my house just for that reason.
Yep. I can never buy it too early in the month because I'll end up eating it all. So, just the way that works.
That's the key, isn't it?
Darn, I don't have enough to give out to kids. Oh well.
You buy it
Yeah,
early
oh, well.
enough so you can eat a whole box, and then you have to
Yeah,
buy
sure.
another
Yeah.
No,
one.
what you do is all summer long, you're eating out, eat little packets of ketchup or whatever, and give that to the kids. Put it all in a bowl. Here you go.
Salt.
Hey, yeah.
Here you go. You got lucky, kid. There's some Arby's sauce in that bag.
You got some Taco
Yeah.
Bell extra hot. Here you go, baby.
Why does my house get
Exactly.
egged every year? What the hell? Yeah, well, there you go. There you go.
But anybody else seen any? Peniac, you actually said you watched Terrifier. I'm proud of you.
Well, you know,
I
was avoiding talking about that yet because but you know me, I'll talk about Terrifier and Terrifier 2 all day. And yes, we know Terrifier 3 is a Christmas movie coming out next year. So
A Christmas movie.
absolutely, yeah, they got spoiled. Damien and the producer are a little pissed off because somebody let the cat out of the bag. But yeah, Terrifier 3 will be a Christmas themed Terrifier movie.
I don't think I've ever
Nice.
even heard of Terrifier.
Oh my God.
I mean, I haven't. That's like
Well, Bomber, we all don't
First
watch
time
My
you
Little
said-
Ponies, sir.
I'm just saying, I've never even heard of it. Like I've heard of all these other.
But I mean, Wilmy and I have talked about it a couple of times, because
The costume that they made is phenomenal. Like that is up there with, in my opinion, one of the top tier horror costumes
Yeah,
that's ever
Right.
been made. Man, he looks fucking
Creepy.
scary. Yeah,
well, and what's
Yeah.
funny is I've met David. He is the nicest guy you would ever meet. He used to be an elementary school teacher. He's just always happy and cheerful, and you can tell by the way he does the clown. He's
Mhm.
he's very very like a mime. If you watch, he's very animated because Art doesn't talk. Art never says a word. But yeah, he does a great job, and he's fun to talk to. Yeah,
and I'm even talking like without the teeth the way they are.
right.
The costume on its own is just like
Yeah.
damn. Like
Just black and white. It's just black and white.
Like in the first one when he just sits down in the pizza shop there and just stares at the girl
Yes.
with his mouth
Yeah.
closed. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
god, man, that is
I might have to look
creepy.
this up just to see what.
Yeah, I mean they're super low budget,
Yep.
but no, man.
Yeah.
I thought it was
The
pretty
second
good. They're
movie
pretty
cost $250,000 to make, and they made over $10 million or $15 million.
nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's this little
ROI
weird looking
right
clown
there.
guy. I've seen the clown guy. I didn't know that was what that was. Okay.
and yeah, they're gonna do the trailer for Terrifier 3 on the 1st because Terrifier 2 is going back in theaters on the 1st, the day after Halloween.
Okay, so
So-
like Wednesday or
Yep.
next year.
No, this year.
Oh.
Terrifier 2 is going back to theaters this year, in 4 days or whatever it is. Yeah.
And did you notice, Ben, when you were watching it, he was kind of poking fun at Jigsaw there in that one area where he was riding on the tricycle.
Uh huh.
I laughed out loud at that part. Actually,
He's
Doesn't
making
it-
fun of Billy.
it's such an absolutely tense moment, and this girl is just
Mm.
fearing for her life out of nowhere, and he just comes in and does a couple loops in the fucking trike and just rides off. I was like, oh, shit, that's awesome.
They actually said they have like hours of footage of him just fucking around, like in the gift shop when he's trying all the glasses and stuff.
Yeah,
all
yeah,
this that they have just all kinds of, because they just said, David, just go, and they just recorded all of it. And so there's a lot of crap in there that we'll never see unless they do a special edition DVD. But
The one thing
yeah.
I did when part 2 started, the one thing I really was hoping is that because he was, all super blood covered and whatnot, and the thing that makes his costume best is because it's like totally like bleach gleaming white, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I hope they figure out a way to do this. So he just goes to a motherfucking laundromat, sits down, does his goddamn laundry.
I know.
and just walks out. It's
And I thought the end of that scene set the mood, because you see him with the other guy in there, and he's just all of a sudden you see him mopping, and if you look, you notice that the mop handle is broken.
Yeah.
And then they pan out. You're like, oh shit, okay, that explains it. Yeah, but it set the mood for the whole movie. I thought it was great.
I like the part when he goes into the pizzeria and he's in the bathroom and the guy comes running out yelling at him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Throws him out.
That was brutal.
Yep. And the scene on the bed where he basically cuts just the lady like in many ways, and she's crawling across the floor. Damien Leone, he creates all those effects himself.
I'm gonna
So-
wager, because when 2 came out and it was in theaters, there were some reports of people were like walking out because a part was so completely gruesome, and I was waiting for it in part 2, and I have to assume that's the one.
Yeah.
Because
That's
that'd be
probably
the
it.
only one I could think of that was bad enough for people to walk.
Yeah,
people
it
to
was
walk
probably
out.
that part. And they actually did introduce barf bags. Sadly, I didn't get one because they didn't have one available when I went and saw them at the con earlier this year. But yeah, they were even surprised by how well it did in theaters, because it was only supposed to be like a couple of day release and a very limited release in theaters, and it kept growing and growing and growing, and they were like, holy shit, we've got something here, you know.
But the weird part of that is, though, people were getting sick and leaving, but you can't trust theater releases, because remember when oh god, what was the name of those movies? The first one was Paranormal Activity.
Mm.
Right.
Every time a Paranormal
Mhm.
Activity movie would come out, they
Found
would show
footage,
people
yeah.
like being scared to death in the theater.
Oh yeah.
What
do those
were they
trailers on
scared of?
TV. Yeah.
You know, I've
What
never
the
watched any
hell
of
is
those movies.
that?
I've never watched any of those movies. I have no interest.
The first one's pretty good. The other ones
well,
are
the
just
first
like,
one-
eh.
The first one's not bad, dude. After that, they just got like,
Yeah.
they got really cheesy.
Yeah, you remember that one that came out on Amazon, and I watched it before you did, and I was like, "Don't bother watching it." And then you watched
Oh
it.
yeah, that
You
last
were
one.
right. You were right.
Oh yeah. Well, my wife wanted to watch it, and then there was the one before that one. All the parts that they showed on the advertisement was never even in the movie.
Wow.
What, Blair Witch?
No,
No, Paranormal Activity.
Paranormal
See,
Activity.
I'm not a fan of found footage movies anyway, so I tend to avoid them. So yeah.
There's
I-
a couple of found footage that were decent.
They were
Nothing
good when it
great.
still had the little bit of, is this really real or not? When they tried to play off, was this real or not? Then everybody figured out it wasn't. And then you keep doing it, it gets old and stale real quick. There's
Well,
not
like the Blair Witch was the first show to do that.
Right.
And I remember me and my wife were sitting at the house one night. We were much younger then. The kids were in bed, and we saw something on TV about the Blair Witch movie. That made us want to go watch it. So we did. We went to the theater. We watched the Blair Witch. We found a babysitter for the night. And when we went to the theater and we watched it, and I'm sure everybody saw the Blair Witch, the original, by this point.
Yeah.
right.
If not, here's your spoiler.
Yeah.
So you can yell at me in the comments, but it's not going to do you any good because this movie's like 30 years old. When they found all these videotapes, supposedly, under the foundation of this old house, I was like, okay, this makes no sense right here. If they found the videotapes, who the fuck found them, number one? How
Yeah.
did they stay safe, number two? And why is this girl still on television? How's she doing interviews if she died? So it was like, eh. But there was a couple of found footage movies that weren't too bad. But it just they got stupid.
They
I
turned,
just-
it turned into a genre, right? Because
Yeah.
It did, yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like when Blair Witch came out, that was the first probably
Right.
movie ever that kind of
It
did
was
that
it
type
was
of
the
thing,
first.
right? Yeah, it's like, is this actually a documentary? Like, we don't know. And
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what
so,
that's why so many
Yep.
people watched it.
yeah, I thought it was really good when I
Yeah.
watched it, back when it came out. But I don't
Yeah.
know how well it holds up right now. But
Yeah.
I watched it
it
again not too long
doesn't.
ago.
okay,
It
not so
does.
good. No,
No, I mean
See-
we just watched it just to be watching it.
My issue is I find it hard to get taken into the story, knowing that it's found footage and everybody we're seeing is probably dead. So I'm like, there's nothing to attach me to the story at that point. You know, so I can't get into. Plus, they tend to be really shaky and shit. I'm like, okay, that's really kind of annoying. Like the
Well, they
first
gotta make it
Clover,
look real.
like the first Cloverfield. You know,
There's some shaky cam there, yeah, for sure.
a lot of shaky camera in Cloverfield. Cloverfield Lane was actually a decent little sequel because they
Yeah,
kind of
I
broke away
watched
from
that
that a
one.
little bit. Yeah.
Had John Goodman in it.
Yeah.
That was actually pretty decent. I saw that one. I didn't watch the first one because I watched a few minutes of it. I'm like, yeah, I'm not watching this shit.
Did you guys like The Ring? When
The
that came
first
out?
one wasn't bad.
I like
That
the
last one they
Sure.
made, though, I was like, what the fuck were they smoking?
Yeah, I don't even know if there was a part 2, if I watched part 2, because at that point it's just like, oh, you know, we
There
struck
was
gold.
a Ring 2. There was a Ring 2. Yeah.
Mhm,
And a
mhm.
3.
And a 3. And
Yep. Then they realized nobody's gonna watch another one, so we just stopped. They just stopped.
well,
Yeah.
and though I haven't done it, I've been told the best way to watch any of those is to actually go watch the original Japanese versions of those movies.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah.
for sure.
Ringu or something like that.
Yeah.
Ju-on, I think, is The Ring, and the host is
No,
No, well,
you
The
want
Grudge.
you want
Ju-on's
you
The
want
Grudge.
the Grudge.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to watch the Grudge and the way it was meant, that's the way you want to watch it. Is
Yeah, for sure. And if you want a zombie movie and you're not terribly opposed to subtitles, you have to watch, if you haven't watched, Train to Busan.
I
Yes,
love
sir.
Train to Busan.
is
I love Train to
amazing.
Busan.
Amazing movie.
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
Very good.
Especially if you like zombie movies. Like, man, oh man, what a movie. And I've only
Yeah,
seen
that
it
was
once.
definitely
It's
different.
just, you know, I shouldn't be praising it that much, but when I saw it, it's like, holy fuck, this is awesome. But yeah. Did they I know they're trying to make an American version. Did that come out yet? Must not have come out yet.
I don't think so. I know they've done
No.
they've done a sequel to Train to Busan, which I've also
Yeah,
watched, which
that wasn't
bad.
even really a sequel though. It was
Right.
just like the same quote unquote universe.
But now
I think I
tomorrow-
watched the 3/4 of that, and then like my downloaded file crapped out. Mind your business, and just didn't finish it. So I mean, I wasn't that invested, obviously, but
Well,
wasn't
tomorrow there's
even
a
the same
new
yet.
there's a new episode. Well, not a new episode, a new version of Hell House comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, I
I
want
don't
to
know if
check
anybody
that
else
out.
has watched Hell House. Hell House is not a bad. I mean, it's a low budget movie, but they're actually not too bad. And there's a new one comes out tomorrow. I can't remember what they show it on. Is it Shudder or Paramount or one of them? But it'll actually be available tomorrow to watch. I can't remember what it's playing on.
And make sure you watch Shaun of the Dead. when
Of
you can.
course, yeah.
Oh, dude, Shaun of the Dead's that's a given.
That's such a beauty.
And
I
then
love Shaun
there's
of the Dead.
I'm looking one up that I actually used in my 31 Days of Halloween that kind of like Train to Busan, or just it's also from, I believe it's from Korea or one of those countries. It's also very good. Let's see. Doo-doo-doo. I've been posting so much of this crap lately, I can't always keep track of it.
It makes it hard.
What's that?
It makes it hard sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I always had to go back and look and see what movies I already posted too. It's always like, okay. Make sure I didn't double post. Where is it?
The horror of a double post.
Well,
Right.
well, and I stuck to movies too. If I started getting into TV shows, that would have created a whole nother level of holy crap. Did I already talk about this? Yeah.
See, I've been-
The Sadness,
I have not seen that.
which released in 2021. I believe it's on Shudder.
See, I've been posting Matthew Perry memes all day to see how many people unfollow me.
I
I saw some of them. Yeah, that was wow.
I had some
So
good
what-
responses.
The high five in the water. That was wow.
Follower count go down.
I had a couple that cussed me out. A couple that sent me nasty messages. It was kind of funny.
Mhm. Yep, The Sadness is on Shudder, available. So, and it starts off strong. It starts off really quick.
Is it a
So-
show or a movie?
It's a movie.
Okay. Cool.
It's a movie show.
Yeah.
Picture show.
But on that note, we're going to get everybody out of here because I'm going to go watch something. Yeah, that sounds like fun. Actually, I'm going to go hit Alan Wake 2 again.
There you go. Survival horror. Hey, it's a great genre for this time of year. Not
Well,
for
I
me,
played all
personally.
year long, but anyway.
Not for me personally.
All right, Ham. Thank you for joining us, sir. And tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the invite. Sorry, I don't know a whole lot about horror movies or video games. So that's just not something I know too much about or can
Well,
even give
hopefully you were
history
taking
lesson
notes.
on.
Hopefully you were taking notes because then, you'll be ready next year,
Next year. I don't know about that. But anyways, thank you so much for having me. You can find me here whenever Wilmy invites me, or else you can find me on my channel, TSWS Gaming on YouTube. We do all sorts of different shows throughout the week. And yeah, that's the most part where you can find me. I guess you can find me as well on Twitter or X or whatever the hell at HamSolo05 Gaming. Thanks.
Some great interviews. Go check them out for sure. For sure.
All
I'm
right,
happy to hit you up.
Yo, thanks for coming out, Ham. Always good to have you. You can find me here Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern with most of these fine gentlemen. Paul doesn't count.
Gee, thanks.
But yeah, on Twitter, just playing what I feel like I want to play and laughing at the seriousness of some of the people's financial degrees and stuff like that.
Breakfasm.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for coming out, everybody in chat. Good show.
All right, Paul. Tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
You can find me on Twitter, formerly X, or the other way around, as Cerebral Paul 1. You can find me on Twitch at Cerebral Paul. You can find me on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Well, some Wednesdays. And 4GQ TV for various shows. Monday, we talk about wrestling. And then and on Thursday is 4GQ TV, where we just talk about anything, much like this show. And then on Tuesdays, I have my show on the Xbox Ambassador channel, Gaming Differently with Cerebral Paul, where I just play all kinds of different games and we talk about accessibility in gaming, what works, what doesn't, things like that. So there you go. Oh, and
Gaming
before I get
Differently.
yelled at, Gaming Differently with Cerebral Paul. Yes, Gaming Differently. Before I get yelled at again, you can find me on Fridays with Wasted with Wise, with the Wise Old Gamer. So
Oh, so you're a panel member now.
yeah, yep.
Cool.
He brought me in to balance out all the ponies.
Hell, the ponies.
And fuck those guys.
All right. All right, screw it. Tell everybody where they can find you, dude.
Well, I'm definitely not on 100 podcasts like Cerebral Paul, but yeah, definitely thank everybody for coming out, hanging with us on Sunday night. Shout out to the Replay Gang, wherever you check us out on the different podcasts, listening or watching Rumble or here on YouTube. Thanks for Ham Solo coming out. You can find me on Twitter at ScrubNurse3, the number 3 behind it. You can find me on Twitch, where I stream Call of Duty from time to time.
Imagine
That's
that.
Scrub. Yeah, imagine that. Me playing Call of Duty. Scrub_nurse. And like I said earlier, please go check out Ham Solo's page. He has some great interviews, some great topics. It's always a good time on his show. But I will see you guys on the next go round.
Real quick, just let me throw out this Wednesday, and it'll be posted soon after we are interviewing the original voice of Laura Croft. So, Shelley
All
Blood.
right.
So, for those who are interested in a little bit of video game history, we'll be posting that on 4GQ TV in the next few days.
So that's kind of like saying you met the guy that made Eddie Griffin.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Well, she was the original video game voice, so shut up. Be nice.
Well, I'm just
Jeez.
saying. Yeah,
Hey,
it's a little,
I like doing some of these interviews because they are a lot. You learn a lot of stuff about the way things work and what they did.
well,
so,
it's their
hey.
voice. I mean, they're talking through it.
Oh, jeez. You're such a downer.
Not a down. I'm a realist.
If we ever do a show where we want to tackle people who scrape bodies off of cement, we'll talk. We'll interview you. You know, so
I do more than just that, sir. I get it off walls and ceilings, and, vehicles.
Yeah.
And sometimes we find them under boxes in hoarded houses. You just never know.
Oh,
Yeah, we had that one last year.
that must
Right.
be fun.
It was interesting because the family had no idea where he'd been. And on that note, you can find me here every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. You can find me on Xbox, PlayStation, or Steam just for Wilmy Hood. And you can find me on X, Twitter, whatever it is, under Wilmy Hood #2. Yeah, watch a movie, play a game, do something entertaining, quit arguing over consoles and platforms. Nobody cares besides you. We're going to do things a little differently starting out. I'm noticing this big giant circle jerk of a podcast, and it's always the same people as the guests, just on different podcasts. We don't want to be like that anymore. We did it for a long time. I'm just kind of tired of that shit. We're going to bring in different people. We used to do that, the year before last, where I got sick.
That's how he found me. So
Well, you're not a good example, dude. You're really not.
Yeah.
You're not a good example.
Unfortunately.
So we're going to continue bringing on new people and different people. I don't want to circle jerk at the same voices over and over and over, because after a while it just gets old and stale. I mean, there's really no fun in it. You already know what they said because they said it 2 days earlier on another podcast. So who cares? But on that note, have a good what's left of your weekend. Have a great Halloween. Stay safe. And remember, nobody's going to give your kids drugs because drugs cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Just a fact.
It's true.
And on that note, we are out of here. We'll see you guys next week. And that should be playing, but guess what? I hit it for the background instead of the actual outro.
Noise.